This is part number 2. God have coming down and talked to me in August 2000. Then he was talking about the past, and he was also talking about what should happen in the future. And he told me incredible things that should happen in my life. And I was sure that I should be staying in Sweden with my cheating husband and live a life boring, and or maybe take my life. So I couldn't really take it in when God was talking to me that I should do all these things that he told me that I should. But now, looking back, after 9 years, I can tell that everything have happened that God told me that should happen. And it was one time he was talking about giving birth. I don't want to tell everything what God told me, because it's very much about my daughter, and I don't have her permission to tell. It have to be her story one day when she want to tell you how she come to know God. But it was about birth, giving birth. And that can be that you're giving birth to something very much spirit things, like a church, giving birth to a church, or giving birth to your new you, giving birth to a baby. There is many births it can be. And but he said something about birth that was so I started to laugh inside me, and I was thinking that it can't be God, because God should know much better than this, that these things can never happen. I was thinking like that. I didn't believe that was God that was talking. And suddenly was it like God heard my thinkings. And so he said to me that you laugh like Abraham and Sarah did. He said, and I didn't know the Bible so well, but I remember a little about Abraham and Sarah, that they were too old to get any kids. But now it doesn't need to be babies. It can be other things, and then you are not too old to start a church, for example. So but I have given birth, and on my way have people, pastors, have told me that I should give birth, and I think today that I have given birth in that way, that I am not frightened to tell the truth. I want to tell the truth now. From 2010, I am not going to lie in that way that I don't tell people that I don't agree with them and things they say. That I also should not lie in that way that I don't tell everything to people. That they only is going to hear the half of the story, like the many of the pastors in the church. They only preach in one part of the Bible that they are sure about what they are talking about. They are not going out out from their safety box. So it's very seldom you hear some of the parts of the Bible that is very hard to understand. Mostly they talk about Matthew, Luke, Mark, and these chapters that is easy to understand, but they don't want to talk about the Old Testament because it's so hard to understand. That I am not going to do. I'm going to tell everything I know and everything that God is telling me. God gave me many dreams also, and I tell people that the dreams I get, because sometimes have the dreams been to other people that I don't know, and because God knows that I'm going to tell the dreams to everyone. So that's why He give me dreams to tell someone that I don't know about, because it's reach these people anyway when I do this. So I'm going to be very clear in this year 2010, and that's why I do this video. And I started to plan to leave Sweden and leave my husband and leave my daughter and leave my work I had. I was a computer teacher for all elder people that was in addiction, that try to stay away from drugs, and I helped them to understand about computer and internet. So I had a real nice job, but I left everything in December 18, 2000, because God have make me stronger, so I could find another way out from everything. It was to leave everything behind, even my daughter behind. I only took the airplane to United States to live my own life, but I never thought it should be so long time and so hard to do this journey that God have told me to do. And I didn't know where to go in the United States. So I chose one city where I was curious about, and that was Seattle in Washington State. When I come to the airport, the officer, they stopped me and say that they want to see my suitcases. And the bad thing was that I have my passport, my old passport that I had in Texas, and my husband lied for me and say that I was allowed to stay in United States, in Texas, for 1 year, so I didn't need to do a visa. So the officer in Seattle, they saw that I had been staying too long in United States. And then they found some papers that I was had educations in PhD education at the university, and my education in computers. So they say that we are not going to let you come to United States. We are going to let you go back to Sweden with the next airplane. And I was scared because I have left my husband, and he didn't know that I have left him, because he was at the hospital and now that day he was going home when I left him without telling him anything. I only ran away from him, and then I have to explain for him why I have taken away things and where I have been when I have been to Seattle. It was so hard for me. So I started to cry very much. And I had also done so. It was a man that have told me, the man in Seattle, he said that I could get a job for a church as their internet provider and do things with their home page for the church, and I was so very welcome, and I could live there with the church. So everything was going wrong at the Seattle airport, and I was crying, and it was like the time ran away. It was like I had only was crying for 5 minutes, but when I look up and in the office there in the waiting place, it had been about maybe 300 people was sitting and waiting to talk to this officer in the office. And when I look up, there was no person there. It was only me, and it was only one officer, and then also a security guard, a woman, and all the other people was gone. And I thought it only was 5 minutes I have been crying, and I have not heard them leaving the place. So the officer called me in, and then he looked at me and he said that I can help you to come into the United States. He said, if you lay your hand on the Bible, he said, and he took a Bible from his desk and gave to me, and he said, if you lay your hand on the Bible and say that and promise that you are going to go to the office for the immigration and ask for permission to stay in the United States, you can stay in the United States. I will help you. So he said, and I was not thinking that I should go to the immigration, and I didn't believe in God in that time, so I only laughed inside me, and then I put a hand on the Bible and say, okay, I swear by the Bible that I am going. And then he took a paper and said, you have to pay $170 for to come into the United States, and then you have 1 month to do these things with the immigration, he said. And I was so happy, but then I'd be sad again because I didn't have that money. My husband, he was drinking up everything, so I had 0 of money. I had only $50 in my pocket, but I didn't have any money on the bank account. But I was willing to do anything. So the security woman, and I was going to the ATM machine to get those money that didn't exist. So I had 1 card, bank card from Texas, and 1 card from Sweden, and I put it in, and of course it says that I have no balance on my account. And I took the other also in Texas, and it was no money on that. And then this woman said, "Let me help you. Maybe you put wrong in." So she took my Swedish bank card, and out did come $100. And that's first time I was talking to God, and I said, "God, that was not enough. What to do?" Then I heard this security guard say, "You had 1 bank card more, did I see, from Texas?" But there I know it was 0. "Let me try for you," she said. And then she put in my numbers, and out come $70 more. So I got $170 for to come in. I believe that God had put an angel behind me as a security guard. I think the security guard was an angel. So I could pay the money for to stay in United States. But then I didn't know what to do, because it have taken 3 hours, did I say, at the clock. And I didn't believe that the man from the church would be there at the waiting for me for 3 hours. So I was confused with $50 what to do, and don't know anything about Seattle. But then the officer come and said, "By the way, it was a man here that have asked for you in 3 hours. He say that he's on the parking lot and waiting for you to bring you to the church." It was amazing that he have been waiting for me in 3 hours, and he didn't know me at all. He could only take the car and drive away, and I have never thought, I have never knew what it was for a man that have drive away from me. That was the first miracle God did for me in United States, and I will tell you more about more miracle ways He did for me. Very amazing things in the next part. So wait for part number 3 of my story, because it's gonna be more amazing, more fantastic things that happened to me.